Welcome to our exploration of female psychology and the subtle signs that may indicate a woman has recently been intimate with someone else. Relationships are built on trust, but sometimes curiosity or concern leads us to wonder about our partner's behavior. In this video, we'll discuss 8 revealing signs that could suggest a woman has just slept with someone else. Remember, these signs are not definitive proof, but rather behavioral cues that may warrant a closer look. Let's approach this topic with sensitivity and an open mind, understanding that everyone's actions and emotions are unique. Now, let's dive into the first sign. One of the first things you might notice is a sudden shift in her mood. She may seem unusually cheerful, distant, or even anxious. These emotional fluctuations can be a result of recent intimate experiences, as emotions often run high after such encounters. Pay attention to whether her mood is inconsistent with her usual self. While mood changes can be caused by many factors, a dramatic or unexplained shift might be a subtle indicator. It's important to consider the context and not jump to conclusions, but being observant can help you understand her emotional state better. Another sign to look out for is avoidance of eye contact. If she suddenly finds it difficult to meet your gaze, it could be a sign of guilt or discomfort. Eye contact is a powerful form of nonverbal communication, and when someone is hiding something, they may unconsciously avoid looking directly at you. This doesn't always mean infidelity, but in the context of other signs, it can be telling. Observe if she seems distracted or uneasy when you try to engage her in conversation. These subtle cues can reveal more than words ever could. Sudden and noticeable change in her appearance can also be a sign. If she's putting extra effort into her looks, wearing new clothes, or applying more makeup than usual, it might indicate she's trying to impress someone. While self-care is important, drastic changes in grooming habits without a clear reason could be a red flag. This is especially true if these changes coincide with other behavioral shifts. Keep in mind, though, that everyone likes to feel attractive from time to time, so context is key. Physical distance is another subtle sign. If she's suddenly less affectionate, avoids physical touch, or seems withdrawn, it could be a result of emotional conflict or guilt. This withdrawal may manifest as less hand-holding, fewer hugs, or reluctance to be close. While everyone needs personal space at times, a sudden change in physical closeness can be significant, especially if it's out of character for her. Pay attention to these shifts, as they often reflect deeper emotional state. She become more secretive with her phone or digital devices. If she's suddenly guarding her messages, changing passwords, or stepping away to take calls, this could be a sign she's hiding something. Technology plays a big role in modern relationships, and increased secrecy can be a red flag. Notice if she's more protective of her privacy than usual, especially if this behavior is new. While privacy is important, a sudden shift in digital habits can be telling. Unexplained absences or vague explanations about her whereabouts can also be a clue. If she's spending more time away from home or is evasive about where she's been, it may raise questions. Pay attention to inconsistencies in her stories or if she avoids giving details. While everyone deserves personal time, repeated unexplained absences can be a sign that something is amiss. It's important to communicate openly, but also to trust your instincts if something feels off. Noticeable change in intimacy patterns can be revealing. If she's suddenly less interested in being intimate or conversely becomes unusually affectionate, it could be a sign of emotional turmoil. Sometimes guilt can lead to withdrawal, while other times it may cause someone to overcompensate. Observe if her approach to intimacy has shifted without an obvious reason. These changes, especially when combined with other signs, can provide important context. Sometimes, a woman who feels guilty may try to overcompensate by giving gifts or doing favors unexpectedly. This behavior can be an attempt to ease her own conscience or distract from her actions. If she's suddenly showering you with attention or presence without a clear occasion, consider whether this is typical for her. While generosity is a wonderful trait, a sudden increase in such behavior can be a subtle sign of underlying guilt. You gently ask about her recent activities and she becomes defensive or irritated, this could be a sign she's hiding something. Defensiveness is a natural reaction when someone feels threatened or exposed. Notice if she reacts strongly to simple questions or tries to turn the conversation around. While everyone can be sensitive at times, repeated defensiveness in response to innocent inquiries may be worth noting. Sudden change in her daily routine can be another indicator. If she's altering her schedule, staying out later, or making excuses for new activities, it could be a sign of something more. Pay attention to whether these changes make sense or if they seem out of character. While life can be unpredictable, a consistent pattern of unexplained changes may be worth a closer look. Communication is key in any relationship. If she's suddenly less communicative, avoids deep conversations, or seems uninterested in sharing her day, it could be a sign she's emotionally preoccupied. Notice if she's giving shorter answers or seems distracted during conversations. While everyone has off days, a sustained lack of communication can indicate emotional distance. Social media can reveal a lot about someone's state of mind. If she's posting less, hiding her online activity, or suddenly unfollowing people, it could be a sign she's trying to cover her tracks. Alternatively, she might start posting more selfies or photos with new friends. Pay attention to any abrupt changes in her online presence, as these can sometimes reflect real-life changes. Nervousness or anxiety can be hard to hide. If she seems jumpy, fidgets more than usual, or appears uneasy in your presence, it could be a sign of inner conflict. These physical cues are often unconscious and can reveal more than words. Notice if she's biting her nails, avoiding touch, or seems restless. While anxiety can have many causes, a sudden onset may be worth noting. When someone feels guilty, they may over-explain simple things to appear honest. If she's giving you too many details about her day or making excuses for minor things, it could be a sign she's trying to cover something up. Listen for unnecessary explanations or stories that seem rehearsed. While some people are naturally talkative, over-explaining can sometimes be a sign of hidden guilt. Body language can be very telling. If she's crossing her arms, turning away, or creating physical barriers, it could be a sign of discomfort or guilt. These nonverbal cues often happen subconsciously and can reveal her true feelings. Watch for changes in posture, facial expressions, or the way she interacts physically. While everyone has different habits, a sudden change in body language can be significant. She's suddenly less interested in activities you used to enjoy together. It could be a sign her attention is elsewhere. Whether it's skipping movie nights, avoiding date plans, or losing interest in shared hobbies, these changes can indicate emotional distance. Pay attention to whether she's making excuses or seems disengaged during your time together. While interests can change, a sudden lack of enthusiasm for shared experiences may be telling. Noticeable change in her sleep habits can also be a sign. If she's staying up later, sleeping less, or seems unusually tired, it could be due to emotional stress or late nights out. Pay attention to whether she's restless at night or has trouble falling asleep. While sleep issues can have many causes, a sudden change in sleep patterns may be worth noting, especially if it coincides with other signs. Physical closeness is an important part of many relationships. If she's suddenly less interested in cuddling, holding hands, or being close, it could be a sign of emotional distance. Notice if she pulls away from your touch or seems uncomfortable with physical affection. While everyone needs space sometimes, a sudden decrease in physical closeness can be significant. If she's suddenly emphasizing her need for personal space, it could be a sign she's dealing with conflicting emotions. Wanting time alone is normal, but if it's a new pattern, it may be worth paying attention to. Notice if she's spending more time in separate rooms, going out alone more often, or expressing a need for distance. These behaviors can sometimes indicate emotional turmoil. Sudden change in hygiene habits can also be a clue. If she's showering more frequently, changing clothes more often, or using new perfumes, it could be an attempt to mask evidence of intimacy. While personal care is important, drastic changes without explanation can be telling. Pay attention to whether these habits coincide with other behavioral shifts. If she's suddenly less willing to share details about her day, it could be a sign she's hiding something. Notice if she gives vague answers or avoids talking about certain topics. While everyone values privacy, a sudden reluctance to share can indicate emotional distance or guilt. Pay attention to whether this is a new pattern or part of a larger change. Sudden change in spending habits can also be a sign. If she's making unexplained purchases, spending more on personal items, or hiding receipts, it could be related to new experiences or people. Pay attention to whether her financial behavior has shifted without a clear reason. While everyone's spending can fluctuate, a consistent pattern of secrecy may be worth noting. If she's suddenly spending more time with new friends or distancing herself from old ones, it could be a sign of new influences in her life. Notice if she's mentioning new names or avoiding talking about certain people. Changes in social circles can sometimes reflect deeper changes in priorities or relationships. If she's suddenly hesitant to make future plans or avoids talking about long-term commitments, it could be a sign she's uncertain about the relationship. Notice if she changes the subject when you discuss vacations, events, or future goals. While everyone can feel unsure at times, a consistent reluctance to plan ahead may be significant. Emotional support is a cornerstone of healthy relationships. If she's suddenly less supportive, seems uninterested in your problems, or is emotionally unavailable, it could be a sign her focus is elsewhere. Notice if she's less empathetic or avoids comforting you during tough times. While everyone has busy periods, a sudden lack of support can be telling. Sudden change in sexual behavior can be a significant sign. If she's less interested in sex, avoids intimacy, or has new preferences, it could indicate emotional or physical changes. Notice if her approach to intimacy has shifted without explanation. While preferences can evolve, a sudden and unexplained change may be worth discussing. Increased arguments or tension can sometimes be a sign of underlying guilt or stress. If she's picking fights over small things or seems more irritable, it could be a way of coping with inner conflict. Notice if disagreements have become more frequent or intense. While every couple argues, a sudden increase in tension may be a sign of deeper issues. Affectionate gestures like kisses, hugs, or holding hands are important in relationships. If she's suddenly less affectionate or avoids these gestures, it could be a sign of emotional distance. Notice if she pulls away or seems uncomfortable with physical affection. While everyone has different comfort levels, a sudden change can be significant. Change in the tone of her voice can also be revealing. If she sounds more distant, cold, or uninterested, it could be a sign of emotional withdrawal. Notice if her voice lacks warmth or if she seems less engaged during conversations. While tone can change for many reasons, a consistent pattern may be worth noting. If she's suddenly giving fewer compliments or seems less interested in making you feel special, it could be a sign her focus has shifted. Notice if she's less enthusiastic about your achievements or appearance. While everyone can get busy, a sudden drop in positive reinforcement may be significant. Sudden change in physical appearance, such as new hairstyles, makeup, or clothing, can sometimes indicate a desire to impress someone new. Notice if she's experimenting with her look more than usual or making changes without explanation. While self-expression is healthy, a sudden transformation may be worth noting. If she seems unusually energetic or, conversely, more tired than usual, it could be a sign of emotional or physical changes. Notice if her energy levels fluctuate without a clear reason. While everyone has ups and downs, a sudden and sustained change may be worth paying attention to. If she's suddenly interested in new hobbies or activities, it could be a sign of new influences in her life. Notice if she's talking about new topics, trying new things, or spending time on unfamiliar interests. While growth is natural, a sudden shift in interests may be worth noting. Noticeable change in her scent, such as new perfumes or unfamiliar smells, can sometimes be a clue. If she's using different fragrances or you notice scents that aren't hers, it could be an attempt to mask evidence of intimacy. While people like to try new things, a sudden change without explanation may be worth noting. Sudden change in eating habits, such as skipping meals, eating out more, or trying new foods, can sometimes indicate emotional changes. Notice if she's making different food choices or seems less interested in shared meals. While dietary changes are common, a sudden shift may be worth noting. If she's suddenly using her phone or computer more or is more secretive about her devices, it could be a sign she's hiding something. Notice if she's spending more time online, deleting messages, or using new apps. While technology habits can change, a sudden increase in secrecy may be significant. If her attitude toward you has changed, such as being less patient, more critical, or less affectionate, it could be a sign of emotional distance. Notice if she's less supportive, more irritable, or seems uninterested in your life. While everyone has mood swings, a sustained change in attitude may be worth noting. If she's taking longer to respond to your messages or calls, it could be a sign she's distracted or preoccupied. Notice if her response times have changed without explanation. While everyone gets busy, a sudden and consistent delay may be worth noting. If she's suddenly less open about her finances, hiding expenses, or avoiding discussions about money, it could be a sign of new priorities. Notice if she's secretive about spending or avoids talking about shared expenses. While financial privacy is important, a sudden change in transparency may be worth noting. If her priorities have shifted, such as focusing more on work, friends, or personal interests, it could be a sign her attention is elsewhere. Notice if she's less invested in the relationship or seems to be prioritizing other aspects of her life. While growth is natural, a sudden change in focus may be significant. If she's suddenly communicating differently, such as being more formal, less expressive, or using new phrases, it could be a sign of emotional distance. Notice if her messages feel less personal or if she's avoiding emotional topics. While communication styles can evolve, a sudden shift may be worth noting. If she's suddenly changing her routine activities, such as going to new places, trying new things, or spending time in unfamiliar locations, it could be a sign of new influences. Notice if she's less predictable or avoids sharing details about her plans. While variety is healthy, a sudden change in routine may be worth noting. If she's suddenly less emotionally available, avoids deep conversations, or seems uninterested in your feelings, it could be a sign of emotional distance. Notice if she's less supportive or avoids discussing important topics. While everyone has busy periods, a sustained lack of emotional availability may be significant. Conclusion: while these signs may indicate that a woman has recently been intimate with someone else, it's important to remember that none of them are definitive on their own. Human behavior is complex, and many factors can influence how someone acts. The key is to look for patterns and consider the context of your relationship. Open and honest communication is always the best approach when you have concerns. Trust, empathy, and understanding are essential for building strong, healthy relationships. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of female psychology and the subtle signs that may reveal more than words ever could.